Solving evil second-degree equations when a is not equal to 1, completing the square, or factoring the unfactorable. So here we have 3x squared plus 9x plus 2 equals 0. And we know how to factor these guys when a is equal to 1. So all we have to do is make a equal to 1. So I'm just going to divide both sides by 3. So that's it, by whatever your a happens to be, right? So divide both sides by a. And in this case, I'm going to divide everything by 3. So I get 3x squared divided by 3 is x squared. 9x divided by 3 is 3x. And then 2 divided by 3 is 2 divided by 3, or 2/3. Okay, 0 divided by 3 is 0. All right, so here is our new trinomial. And then step 2 is subtract the last term from both sides of the equation. So I'm going to subtract the 2/3. And that gives me x squared plus 3x is equal to negative 2/3. All right, so to make this into a perfect square trinomial, what I'm going to do, like we always want to have something where you have the first thing squared, 2 times the first times the last is the middle term, and the last term is something squared. Okay, so if this is our middle term, and our first term is 1, to figure out the last term, all we have to do is divide the middle term by 2 and then square it. Okay, so I'm going to do exactly that. So divide the middle term by 2, then square it, and add this to both sides of the equation. So we have 3 divided by 2 is 3 over 2. Square it, that's going to be 9 over 4, and then add that to both sides. So we have x squared plus 3x plus 9 over 4 is equal to negative 2/3 plus 9 over 4. And then I'm going to add that together. So I need to get a common denominator, which is going to be 12. So I have negative 8/12 plus 27/12, and that is going to give me 27 take away 12 is going to be, no, that's not right. 27 take away 8. 27 take away 8 is 19. So I'm going to end up with 19/12 of all things. Okay, so where were we? So this is a perfect square trinomial on this side, and this is a nice constant on the other side. So I'm going to factor my perfect square trinomial. So square root of the first term, this sign, and the square root of the last term, which is going to be 3 halves. So we end up with x plus 3 over 2 all squared is equal to 19 over 12. And then I'm going to take the square root of both sides. And when we do that, we just have to remember to put the plus and minus in front of the square root of 19 over 12. Okay, so x plus 3 over 2 is equal to plus or minus the square root of 19 over 12. And then I want to isolate the x by subtracting the 3 over 2. So x is equal to negative 3 over 2 plus or minus the square root of 19 over 12. And that's our final answer. Have a good day. Okay, so solving evil second-degree equations when a is not equal to 1, completing the square, or factoring the unfactorable. All right, here you have 3x squared plus 4x plus 1 is equal to 0. I want to get rid of that 3, so I'm going to divide both sides. I'm going to divide everything by 3, so that gives me x squared plus 4/3 x plus 1/3 is equal to 0. All right, now I want to get rid of that 1/3, so I'm going to subtract 1/3 from both sides. And that gives me x squared plus 4/3 x is equal to negative 1/3. Now, I would like to get the last term on here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 4/3, divide that by 2, and then square it, and add it to both sides. All right, so divide the middle term by 2, that's the 4/3. And when you're dividing 4/3 by 2, okay, when you're dividing a fraction by something, you can do it 2 ways. Like, remember, you're dividing the numerator by the 2, okay, not the denominator. So the 4 gets divided by 2, so it becomes 2/3. You can do it that way, or you can think of it as dividing by 2 is multiplying by a half. Okay, so the 2 could multiply the 3, but the 2 is going to reduce with the 4. Either way, you're going to get 2/3. Okay, so 2/3 and then square that, and that's going to give us 4/9. So I'm going to add 4/9 to both sides. So we have x squared plus 4/3 x plus 4/9 is equal to negative 1/3 plus 4/9. And so my 1/3 is, if I multiply the top and bottom by 3, I'm going to get 3/9. Okay, so I have 4/9 take away 3/9 is 1/9. Okay, and here's my perfect square trinomial. So square root of the first term is going to be x plus the square root of 4/9 is going to be 2/3. So I'm going to have x plus 2/3 all squared is equal to 1/9. Take the square root of both sides, And don't forget the plus minus. So we have x plus 2/3 is equal to plus minus the square root of 1/9. But the square root of 1/9 is going to be 1/3. Okay, so 1's a perfect square and 9's a perfect square. All right, so we're going to get x to isolate the variables, subtract 2/3 from both sides. X is equal to negative 2/3 plus or minus 1/3. Okay, and this we can totally work out. So negative 2/3 minus 1/3 is negative 3/3, which is negative 1. Okay, and then so we have an x1 and we have an x2, which is going to be negative 2/3 plus 1/3. Okay, which gives us negative 1/3. All right, so we end up getting negative 1 and negative 1/3. Okay, and you can also write like this in a brace bracket. So x is a member of negative 1 and negative 1/3. Remember, put the smallest integer on the left and the bigger one on the right. And there you go. And that's it for second degree equations. Have a good day.